When the brand new ShotScope Pro ZR was first announced, I've got to admit, I was a little bit skeptical. I was hugely disappointed with the ShotScope X5 GPS watch, which was ShotScope's last attempt to move one of their products into the more premium end of the market. At £299 or $299 in the US, it is £100 cheaper than the brand new Bushnell Tour V6 Shift. So, how does the new Pro ZR stack up? Over the last several months, I've given this rangefinder a serious testing so I can let you know what I really think of it. How premium does it feel to use? How accurate is it? How quickly does it lock onto flags? How does the new durable case hold up? How does it compare to the Bushnell Tour V6? And how do you sign up to my free monthly golf deals newsletter? Well, the answer to that one's easy. There's a link down in the description below. So let's get on with it. You're not going to believe me, but that was first time. Compared to the other rangefinders in the ShotScope range, this certainly is the most premium, and actually it does have a nice quality feel about it. It uses this new Durashell, I think it's what it's called, case. So it's a combination of a metal case underneath with this rubber grip element kind of wrapped around the outside, and then I think it feels like there's some plastic materials on the outside as well. But overall, it does feel nice in the hand. It's got good ergonomics, and it's got a nice amount of weight to it. Feels premium, actually does feel premium. Now let's get some of the basics out of the way. So at £299, you're getting a lot of the same tech as the Bushnell Tour V6. So you're getting a laser rangefinder that has 6 times magnification. It has flag lock, it has slope, which is nice and easy to turn on and off with this button on the side. You have the ability to switch between flag lock and scan mode with a simple press of this button on the top here, and it has a magnet on the back of it, so you can secure it to the side of your trolley or your car or club if you wanted to, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend that. I haven't managed to do any official tests in terms of how that durable case holds up. You can see I've dropped it once or twice and it still works absolutely fine, but I don't really want to go dropping my Bushnell as well next to it. So yeah, I think it works. Feels quite durable, but can't guarantee it, I'm afraid. The joy of having a rangefinder with slope is in these situations right here, where I'm on a significant elevation. So with the Pro ZR, if I turn slope mode on by pushing it out sideways, and we lock onto the flag there you go. So it's telling me 176, but actually it's playing 164. Let's do it again. 177, playing 164. Let's quickly test the Bushnell now. So here we go, Tour V6 with the slope on as well. So we lock onto the flag. 176 playing 165. We'll do it one more time. 177 playing 165. So very, very close. In fact, let's jump over to the driving range now, where we can do a quick accuracy test as well as a speed test for how quick the Pro ZR locks onto the flag compared to the Bushnell. Now, I've previously done a full review of the Bushnell Tour V6 that I've got in my hand, and I actually used a yardage stick to double check how accurate it was. So I'm pretty happy using this as a benchmark, and let's see how close the Pro ZR can get to it. We're gonna go for the 50, 100, 150, and 200 yard flags. So let's start with the Bushnell to give ourselves a baseline. Okay, so starting with the Bushnell in 3, 2, 1, go. So it's 53, 99, 152, and 202. Nice and quick, very simple, easy to use, confidence inspiring. Now let's see how the Pro ZR gets on. Here we go, in 3, 2, 1, go. 53, 100, 152, and 202. So if I remember rightly, it's pretty much like for like from the Pro ZR compared to the Bushnell. The Pro ZR does give you a slight vibrating jolt when you lock onto the flag. The Bushnell certainly is a bit more of a bigger jolt, and you have that visual jolt on there as well, which means you get that red ring around the outside when it's locked on. But overall, it's pretty impressive, and I'd say just as fast. One area where I think the Bushnell is actually more premium feeling compared to the Pro ZR is in the buttons. So with the Bushnell, it's got a very nice satisfying click, and you can really feel the button works along the whole length. You can hear that there? And you know, you're using that button every time you use it, so it is nice and reassuring that you know you've pressed the button and it's working. With the Pro ZR, I don't know, it probably sounds the same, but so it doesn't feel the same. It's not as satisfying a click, if there is such a thing. It works absolutely fine. It's not a case of the button not working, but if I use the main button towards the ends of the button, yeah, it doesn't feel as good. There's not as much travel on the button. It's not the end of the world. I certainly say that it still feels like a premium laser rangefinder. Between the two, I prefer the feeling of using the Bushnell, but the shot scope is around £100 or $100 cheaper. So is that the end of the world with the buttons? Certainly not. Still feels like a good premium product. In terms of looking down the viewfinder with both of them, I would say that the Bushnell certainly has a wider field of view, and the colours are just a little bit clearer and brighter, I'd say. Again, doesn't mean that the shot scope is bad. That's just another slight difference when it comes to the premium feel and experience that you're getting. The Bushnell just slightly edges out the Pro ZR. Ground is still very wet, but we got away with it. There are a couple of features that the shot scope has which the Bushnell doesn't. You do have the option to choose whether you want a black display or a red one. Now that might sound a little bit odd, but when the light conditions change, it can actually be easier to read using the red display than the standard black one. And I kind of feel I've got to remind everyone, this is £100 cheaper, or even $100 for those of you across the pond. That said, there's definitely one more area where the Bushnell Tour V6 has got the Pro ZR beat. When it comes to water resistance, the Bushnell is IPX6 water resistant, which means it's extremely water resistant. In fact, a quick Google says that it is extremely waterproof, impenetrable by weather, waterfalls, and even a non-sustained total soaking. Whereas the Pro ZR is just water resistant. They've not gone and actually got it tested to the IPX certification. Now, do I trust that it is water resistant and it's going to be able to withstand, you know, a light shower? Yeah, I can't see why not. Haven't actually tested it yet because generally I don't really like playing golf in the rain, but it would be nice to have that additional peace of mind that it is up to a certain industry standard certification such as IPS6. So in my opinion, that's a point for the Bushnell. Bushnell. Kind of flitted between the two. So, is the ShotScope Pro ZR a better rangefinder than the Bushnell Tour V6 for a quarter of the price? No, I don't think it is. Don't get me wrong, the Pro ZR does have a premium feel to it compared side by side with the Bushnell. Yeah, I'd say actually it probably does feel slightly more premium, but the Bushnell is actually the nicer rangefinder to use with the nicer buttons as well as the visual jolt display. Doesn't mean that the Pro ZR is bad, it's just not better than the Bushnell, especially when you add into the fact that the Bushnell has the IPX6 water resistance rating, whereas the Pro ZR is just water resistant, but to an unknown extent. However, don't forget, the Pro ZR is £100 or $100 cheaper than the Bushnell Tour V6 Shift. So a pound for pound comparison, yeah, they're probably pretty similar, and the Pro ZR should definitely be something you should be considering if price is that much of a factor in your decision. Which, let's face it, for a lot of golfers, including myself, it is a big decision. £100 is a lot of money. That's a lot of late balls I can chuck in there. Is the Pro ZR nice to use? Is it accurate? Yes, it's both of those things. But just to throw one more spanner in the works, the previous version of the Bushnell, the Tour V5 Shift, is about the same price as the Pro ZR. And the main difference with the old version compared to the new version is that it was just water resistant. It didn't have that IPX6 rating. So now that pretty much is a very similar comparison for the same price. Should you go for the Tour V5 or go for the Pro ZR? It's a close call, to be honest. If this video has got you thinking that maybe you do want to spend the extra £100 on the Bushnell Tour V6 Shift, then I've included my full review of that rangefinder right here, as well as a full review of the previous Tour V5 right here. Don't forget to hit the like button if you've enjoyed this video and found it helpful. And if I managed to hit this shot over the water, then you've got to hit the subscribe button too. Of course the wind starts gusting as I step up to the tee. Ah, frozen rope. Well, little bit of a fade. Got to hit that subscribe button now. Them's the rules.